Let's go.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. My lovely introduction about Rita Boccuzzi. She is Mama Rita. She's a proven professional who is a dedicated leader. Yes, you are. She educates and empowers women to achieve financial independence by getting to the core issues on how women relate to money while learning and implementing practical strategies to elevate their financial lives. And you also lead Wine, Women, and Wealth. And your next one is coming up on Tuesday, which I've been to a few and they're amazing. And then also the Money 101 workshop, which I've been to twice because that one is fantastic as well. And both of those are free workshops. And you are the CEO of Flourish Incorporated and partnered with Five Rings Financial.
Yep. And I love it all. I'm going to say I'm at a mode in my life where it's like, oh my gosh, pinched me because I never thought that I could love so much what I do every day. And it's because I get to share with people and do what I care about the most, that I think is most impactful in people's lives today. So I love it. So thank you.
I just want to tell everybody about the first time that I met you, because it was, I want to say, 3 years ago now at the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And we sat next to each other. And it's funny because I always have to gauge how Jill can I be when I meet people. And I immediately, after 3 sentences back and forth with you, Rita, I was like, oh, she's my kind of people. She gets me. She's funny. She is a raw, down-to-earth personality. And then I found out we were both Taurus, strong-ass women. So I've just loved you since the moment I met you. I feel like I'm bringing you to prom. You're my date, and I get to show you off because I just think you're wonderful.
I am super excited to be with you today.
I am too. I just think when you choose to learn from someone, you have to be very smart to know, I like the way you teach, your heart is in it. You come from a very, I want to say holistic, because you're looking at it from a very heart-centered, how does this affect your whole life place?
Right.
And do they know more than you do? Are they someone that you want to emulate? Do you want to live a life that they're living? Because I'm not going to go and get advice from someone who's broke, because it obviously hasn't worked for them.
That's right.
My girlfriend Kimberly always says, think about how you can be of service to other people and don't make it about yourself. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to bring as much information and try to ask the best questions and just be present and F it, have a good time.
Exactly. And that's what I love about you. I mean, this is you being real, me being real, authentic, sharing who we are. And like what we were talking about a little bit earlier is, you know, for some people, they have to take us in small doses. We could hang out like this all day long. And when we part, it's the 2-hour goodbye, because feel apart from that energy is kind of challenging. But just loving where we're at and being present, and then loving the people who are with us so that we all can grow and flourish together.
I read something recently that said, don't be afraid to let them see you stumble as you grow. And you can either stay where you're at and be comfortable, or you can be courageous and go somewhere new and then expand your comfort zone.
I know I have my own vision. I'm going to say learning around money so that we can master it versus it mastering our lives. Because I know right now we are seeing how it can master other people's lives and not give them choices. And I'd rather have everybody be on that flip side so that they can grow. I'm going to say it's a little bit selfish too, because if everybody's doing great, damn, we live in a world where everybody's happy. So have fun and be positive and just show up and just learn more from one another. Money, a lot of times, is on our mind. Sleeping well helps our mindset, helps our body, right? Mm-hmm. If money is mastering and it's leading you to have ill health, then what do you need to master is those stories around money.
So I know your story of how you got here, but just to let everybody know what brought you into the world of financial wellness, let's hear it.
Curiosity as a kid. My parents were really great at modeling what they did, but not so much the conversation part of it. Fast forward, I took my parents' advice. I set up an IRA. At 18 is when I did that. In 2001, when I was 33, my IRA was like the same amount of money it was when I was 18. And I was like, what just happened? So that curiosity, then you fast forward, I was doing some real estate investing and then lost out on that. And it was like, oh my God, really? And then 2 years after that, I got cancer. I'm a survivor of 9 years, doing fabulous. But that was one of my kick-ass drivers, because I had 2 kids, one graduating junior high, one graduating high school. And I was like, okay, now what? As a mom, have I set my kids up with an awesome platform, an awesome foundation and armor to go out in the world? And the answer was a big fat no. And I thought, oh God, I'm sick. What can I do about it now? And not only am I sick, I'm financially sick. I've got financial cancer because we lost everything. Inside of me, I'm going to learn. I started reading. That was the one thing that I could do as I was healing and getting better. Started learning by mentors, spending 6-figure plus to learn, because only the wealthy were being taught. Well, the big question for me is like, you see a need and then you got to fill it. And I thought, why only them? And why don't women know?
Yeah.
I recently learned, and from one of my mentors was sharing actually earlier today, 90% of women are going to be in charge of their financial household, in charge of their wealth. But 75% of them aren't ready yet. And that's because it's not a lack of money problem, it's a lack of money education problem. I started learning with the hell-bent mission to teach, to share. And I wanted it to be free because I really, really believe in, and this may be Pollyanna for some of you, but it is reality for me. An educated society is an elevated society, and we do that together. And Wine Women Wealth, 5 rings, that was a model that was already in place that literally met my criteria of let's go rock it together. Because honestly, I was about 4 years post remission and I didn't have a whole ton of energy still. It goes down, but you come back up, right? It's you, it's about your resiliency and just showing up.
I love you, and I'm drawn to you and your energy because you see everything through a positive lens and perspective, which is just so important in life.
The amazing thing is having these connections like you and I have, Jill, so that we're not doing it alone. We're doing it side by side. You're not pushing me, you're not pulling me. We're here hand in hand. And it is about being together and learning from one another, because there's been a lot of self-shame and blame because we didn't know. And so my thing is, how do you expect to have known when no one ever taught you? We need to be kinder to ourselves, love on one another, share with one another so that we can grow.
And even if there's bits and pieces that you learn from this today that make sense to you that you can go share with someone else, do that. Because the more, I always say this even with health stuff, anytime I learn something or I teach something to clients, I say, go tell it to someone else, because then you reverbalize it, you rehear it to yourself, and then you learn the words that make sense to you, but then it lives. Because like you were saying, Rita, we just don't talk about money. There's so many things that are, oh, you can't talk about that. Why the hell can't we talk about money? It's what makes the world go round.
It's still taboo today. It's crazy. And yes, definitely sharing is caring. We're going to share about our clothes, nails, whatever. That's great. But why not share about great conversations and money and engage and have fun? It's just about the community. It's about the connection. It's about the building one another. So it's holistic. There's a threshold, right? You can only do for you so much. Then what is the ripple effect to others? So focus on what you can do for others. So for me, it's like, you know what? I want to help people have an empowered personal financial economy so they don't give a rip about what's going on in the outer world of the other stuff, because they can control what they can do and then they can share and bless others. That is the type of community and focus that I like to have.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. It's not all about everything that you do. Please ask other people for help. Please lean on other people. Think how good it feels to us to be able to support one another. And my husband's like, I don't have time to make breakfast. I'm on a call. Can you make it? I'm happy to do it for him. It makes me feel good. He did the laundry today because he knew I had a lot of stuff going on. Took something off my plate that was easy for him to do. So ask people for help. Everyone always feels like they're a burden, and it's actually a blessing to allow other people to help you.
You are tapping into my world big time. So when I got cancer and then got financial cancer, I went from being what I call the breadwinner to burden syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very humbling experience because hundreds of people literally helped me during that time. And I got to write a list of their names and thank every single one of them. And what I learned was, if I didn't need help, they didn't get the blessing to give the gift of what they had to offer. And you know how good it feels when you give gifts to people. So they were equally as blessed. It is a beautiful cycle. So if you're one of those people that's in a position that needs help right now, definitely ask, because you are giving the gift of letting and allowing people to be able to give their gifts, which is so beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful things ever. So I love that you said that.
Yes. And I also wanted to touch on when you were talking about how we perceive wealthy people, we get confirmation of what we think. So if you're going to say, oh, everyone who has money is an asshole, you'll start encountering those people. You could say people who have no money are assholes, and then you'll get those people. But I've seen so many people who have not even a lot of money to a lot of money, donate to beautiful causes, make things happen. Or, you put something up on Facebook like, hey, I'm dedicating my birthday to this. And then people donate. And you're like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought. Or they just give $10 and you're like, wow, but that $10 goes so far. So we start to fulfill those things that we think about. So it's interesting that this is money, but it's so imperative our thoughts around it.
It's a resource. It's just a resource. And just like the air we breathe, not polluting it is a resource, the water, the ocean, our bodies, learning to be mindful of that. It is a resource.
You have such great ideas around the way that we think and what comes into fruition. So let's talk about healthy mindset around money.
I love it. That's really where it all starts, right? Having mantras and affirmations, because your words are your world. We're hearing the resounding vibrations in our heads before they ever come out. And if they're negative, it's going to bring us down. So really should be positive in creating and establishing positive beliefs, starting with our thoughts, right? Because we can control the thoughts that we have and shift them and make them victorious thoughts. So, I love mantras. I share one. And by the way, I wasn't the creator of my own mantra. Somebody else shared it with me and then I just made it my own. So I encourage you to do the same. Mine are going to be very specifically around money and wealth and abundance, which is super awesome because again, you're saying those words to yourself first. I'll lead with my mantra. Money comes to me easily, effortlessly, and abundantly. And with it, I give praise to my God. I honor myself and I bless those around me, my friends, my family, my community with its surplus. And it comes from positive resources. I like to add that.
That's important.
That's the piece so sometimes even my own mantra, I just say what I say because it's coming from my heart. I'll tell you one that's really quick that I learned from a very wealthy person, and I wasn't allowed to enter their home the first time I met them unless I had my own mantra. So their mantra was, money comes to me from the north, south, east, and west right now.
I love it.
Hold space for that. Sometimes we don't believe it in the beginning. I'm going to be honest. In the beginning, I was like, for real? I'm going to try it. What have I got to lose? Let me do this for 21 days, 30 days. Now it's turned into a lifetime of doing it. And so much has shifted in my life. So much joy has come into my life from it. And that is wealth because then you have a healthy mindset. Mm-hmm. Makes you physically well, you're spiritually well. It just creates this beautiful, abundant cycle.
Yeah, because it's true. Our thoughts become our words become our actions become our daily habits, and that's what defines us. So what you think and those emotions and everything that you've got in you, whether you believe in a big spiritual world or not, what you put out is what you get back. So if you're hanging out with people that are low vibe energy and like, oh, I don't have enough and always in lack, then you'll notice that's kind of the energy that you live in. But hanging out with people like you and you have a money mindset, it makes me think about that, open up to gratitude, and I'm so thankful for all these things. That's what I'm attracting in. So it's just so important to think about your mindset, even just around money.
I think most of us have realized how important the simple things are right now that give us joy. And just reflecting on that and then waking up in the morning going, oh my God, I get to have all these joyful things again. I wonder which joyful new things I'm going to encounter. And guess what? Every day I encounter new joyful things because that's part of saying a mantra.
Yes.
I'm going to say one of them. And I actually always have a list. I don't have them memorized, right? I'm not superhuman. I have lists all over the place. And it's interesting. One of the affirmations I was going to read today is, the more I give, the more I receive, the more I receive, the more I give. And you just spoke to that. And we didn't have that discussion because it is true. When you start to live a life like that, I think the first thing that you have to really feel for a lot of people, especially women, is I am worthy of a wealthy life. I am deserving of abundance in my life. Money comes to me in miraculous ways, or you can say wealth comes to me in miraculous ways, so that this way I am open to receiving all of the wealth I can and live a joyful life. Just keep it simple. What speaks to you? I expect opportunities of blessings to come to me because this is the way my life is led. I'm a magnet for blessings each and every day.
Yes. At the first Wine Woman Wealth, you shared that anytime you go somewhere and there's a raffle that you win.
That was, I'm going to say, again, surrounding yourself with amazing people. I have, in particular, awesome mentors and leaders. And one of my mentors, his name is Andre.
Andre. Shout out to Andre.
Shout out to Andre. So Andre and Mara, his wife, she is the mantra leader for me. So amazing leaders that I get to hang out with. And Andre basically said, Rita, I want you to have fun with this because I can be so passionate that I get really into the thick of everything. And then not that it's not fun for me, but it's not fun for other people. It's too intense. So he's like, I just want you to have fun. He says, I want you to say, it's just like me to win raffles all the time. Well, I just said, what do I have to lose? And everywhere I went, every networking event, any place I went, there were raffles. Well, that first year I won a 50-inch screen TV. I won a log cabin stay for my family, money, jewelry. Oh yeah, the last one that I haven't had a chance to use yet was a Burke Williams spa day.
Oh, you will well deserve that.
Thank you. And it just kept on happening. And then I started teaching other people to do it. And I have my dear sweet goddaughter, who's also my admin, started saying this. And now she texts me every time, oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just won. And I'm like, well, of course, it's just like you. She won an event at a fundraiser that I was hosting for a foundation that I love called Bloom Again. And she's like, I really want this organic wine that one girl. I said, okay. So she was like, rub my ticket. And I was like, no, it doesn't work that way. So I was holding on to her ticket and I was like, I want to hear you say it. She's like, it's just like me to win the wine I want tonight. And literally it was this random raffle thing and she won it. And everybody knew about that. She was saying it and it happened right in front of all of us. So have fun. Find ways to have fun with all of this because if you're not having fun, then there's no purpose to it.
I mean, with anything.
Exactly. Because fun is healthy for you, right? Laughter is the best medicine. It is just healthy. And who would have thought that we would be thinking about all of this and talking about money? You have to surround yourself and your brain vibrationally knows what direction to take you, what amazing people to meet, right? Fortunate enough to be doing interviews so that I could be in front of communities to bless, really, this is about blessing others so that they can make it happen the way that they've always dreamed about it. I think that there's this small place, no matter how small that voice or that feeling is, tap into it because it is truly, truly possible. Hold on to that hope and just take baby steps. You can take action steps, simple ones, simple, because really it is about the simplicity of life. I teach people about different money buckets, little shifts that we can make that wealthy people make that are so little. Now, they may not always be easy for us because our mind now has to wrap around them. That's why being in community together is so important. You can go to mamaridamoney.com. I am having a Wine Woman Wealth on the 12th. Tuesday from 5 to 7, where we get to share what's fabulous about us and have a little conversation around money and a book called The Soul of Money so that we can get perspective from somebody who is very knowledgeable around money other than myself and have cool conversations around it. And there are Money 101 workshops. And if you want to know more about those, private message Jill or myself, and we will send you links or updated information, emails, etc. So connect with one of us. That's super important. It's all about connecting everybody, really. And then collaborating together. There are a few myths out there. Is there any one myth that you saw or thought of, Jill, that maybe...
Yeah, I think right now it's important because people are either out of work or not making as much. And a lot of people think, oh, I have to have a ton of money or be rich in order to save. And I just don't earn enough to save.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. So you heard my story about earlier, really lost everything. But the one thing that I didn't lose was my ability to learn and to forward, an ability to connect and an ability to be curious. And that is so super important because that will lead you to where you want to go. So if there's not an abundance of money right now, really getting the mindset piece put together and a vision. So we need to create a vision for our financial mission. So what is the purpose of your money? Learning these myths that you can bust, asking empowering questions to yourself, maybe with somebody else to keep you accountable. I've had an accountability partner for, oh my gosh, I think it's going to be 9 years, Doug. And I met him when I first started out on my wealth building quest to teach people to fuel their financial missions and visions.
And that's a quick, two or three things that you do with an accountability partner, because some people might not even know what that is or how do you utilize an accountability partner? Yeah. How do they keep each other accountable with what?
So you find somebody, I'm going to say like you and I could definitely be accountability partners. And then we get on the phone 30 minutes a week, 15 minutes you, 15 minutes me. I might share 5 minutes of personal stuff that's going on in my life so that we can support each other if we're having a hard time. and somebody else can share a positive perspective on it. Same with financials. What one thing are you going to do? I am going to start plugging in numbers into an Excel sheet or even on just a plain piece of paper. What are all my finances? What's coming in? What's going out? I call that FPS, financial positioning system. Start by knowing where you're at. And it's pretty quick.
But I love that you're doing this, Rita, because I mean, it's the same with anything. I have people with health, when they first start, I'm like, write down what you eat every day. You might not be conscious of what you're eating. What are the thoughts around it? So with this, it's, you might not think you have money, so why budget? But oh my gosh, good reason too. And to see, how much am I spending on this? Where can I allocate? Where can I cut back? What things are not negotiable that need to stay in?
And mindset is so super important. If you are complaining about wealthy people, how do you expect to become one? Because then you'd be becoming somebody you don't like. So be mindful of that. That is probably one of the biggest things that I see. And I'm going to say, honestly, it was me too, right? Growing up, hearing people talk about each other, going, oh, that rich bastard. Really? So we have to be mindful about what we're saying because we want to be wealthy and happy. And I think most of us want to be sharing. In conversation, if you're going to complain, have a solution.
Yes. Please say that again.
If you're going to complain, come back with a solution at the same time. Otherwise, don't do the complaint. I do this formula. Exploration plus expansion plus engagement equals elevation. So simply put is if you seek, you're curious, then you can get educated, you can grow. Engage is starting, right? It's taking that action so that then you can elevate and supersede beyond your wildest dreams. It's so possible. It's hope. And when you have hope, literally you have everything and it follows. So follow your dreams, keep dreaming, keep creating those missions and visions. Close your eyes, visualize your favorite place that you want to be. You will be there. You just got to ask yourself, how? And wait for the answer to come. That's probably the biggest challenge is the waiting is where we need to be most resilient. Just being patient and being mindful and loving and keep meeting, keep connecting because you are one step away from that vision and dream every day of your life, truly.
And I want to add, you have to be open to it. You have to come with the possibility where your mind is open that, okay, I'm not sure where this is going to come from, but I'm going to get money today somehow. Maybe you'll get a residual check or, you know, if you're an affiliate for someone, all of a sudden people ordered and the check came that day, or even just that the right people are going to come into your life, but you have to be open in order to grow and see it happening. And you were talking about feeling your way into it. And I think even doing meditations where you're saying those I am statements, just to put yourself into that feeling. Because a lot of times, like, you want to be in love. Okay, well, if you're walking around with terrible attitude, like, no one's going to want to date a resting bitch face. But if you're walking around and you've got that feeling, you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
but it is true. And
that's what's going to attract.
And I'm going to say sometimes, by the way, a good accountability partner will tell you that, right? That you may have that face. It is about being accountable to one another. You're there to be a blessing to each other, not a burden to each other. And if you are having the same steps, it gives you another perspective. And yes, you have to be open to being blessed.
We're just going to wrap it out here. I was asking Rita, what are her final thoughts about what you guys can do right now that would be the best action step to take? And she had a really good thought.
And my thought is ask for what you want. That's one. I'm going to share a couple of things that you can do, but it has to be what resonates with you. I would private message Jill or myself and ask more questions because sometimes we don't even know ourselves what it is that we want. So if you're thinking, well, I'd love to have a conversation with one of them, then do it. Take that action. I'd love to attend Wine Woman Wealth and be curious and be that fly on the wall to see what's going on. Then let us know. Be in a space where you're just learning, right? Being taught, not told what to do. And you're definitely not going to be sold. So don't worry about those things because Jill has been there. She knows. So you can go learn something new and ask more questions. Get that accountability partner. Take a step. One. I'm going to ask you to hold yourself accountable to that one step and the next and then the next. Don't overwhelm yourself. Keep it simple. What is speaking to you? Answer it because most of us, we know And we just like, okay, is it really that? Yes, it's really that. Like, it's that small? Yes, it's that small. One woman asked me one time, what should I do before I meet with you the next time? I'm like, gather all your bills. That's it. Don't open them. Don't do anything. That is her action step. Then we met together and we celebrated her success for doing that. And some of us want to make big leaps. I want to get to the down and dirty, real deal about what can I do? What's my next level? With COVID, coronavirus, a lot of people, their money has also been in stock market. If they want to stop the bleeding, definitely private message me. There's different resolutions for different people, but be curious, get the answer, and then you decide what your action steps are going to be. But find out, do not remain paralyzed. Ask, 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 so that you, because you are in control always, can do your next best move, your next best step.
There it is. That's fantastic. I think all of those tips are actionable. I want to say they're easy enough to do where it doesn't feel overwhelming, but just do something. When you feel overwhelmed, just take action. Get into movement, because then that is, in a good way, it's an addictive thing that you're doing, because then you see a little bit of positivity and then you're like, okay, let me do a little bit more. But just to sit in inaction, it just makes all that overwhelm and like, oh, I don't know. No, speak up, say something. And sometimes we have to say no in order to grow, and no to those things that don't serve us, that aren't helpful, whether it's people, things that you're buying. What are you spending your money on? If you're buying unhealthy food, that doesn't serve you for so many reasons. So yes, have a conversation with Rita. Check out Wine Women Wealth. Check out the Money 101. They're all virtual right now. So you're lucky. It doesn't matter where the hell you live. You get to have access to Rita and all of her information.
I think all of us can be like mamas of the world, sharing and nurturing one another. And that's what it's all about, so that we can flourish together. I'm going to tell you, this is one of my favorite statements. Somebody used to call me tesoro growing up, and tesoro means treasure, and you are a true tesoro. So thank you for showing up for everybody.
That gave me chills. Thank you. Rita, thank you so very much. You're amazing.
Love you, Jill.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't give you hugs, but I can blow you lots of kisses.
Let's meet tonight in our financial dreams. We'll both win the raffle.